that first wild ride. Now, there are some who get hooked on it and just can't stop. Dave Crawley joins a convention of coaster freaks at Kennywood Park for tonight's story from KD Country.
For more than a century, Kennywood Amusement Park has been a wonderland for the young, a magical kingdom for kids. And then there's this group. They are grown-ups in age only. Doctors, lawyers, bankers, they've been drawn from all over the country by the ancient lure of the roller coaster. These are the American Coaster Enthusiasts, ACE for short, 150 of them from 20 different states and Canada. Several times a year, they descend on an amusement park and ride to their heart's content.
People experience all sorts of emotions when they ride the roller coaster. For some, it's that thrill when they go over the first dip. For others, it's a throwback to childhood. For me, fear.
They start with Kennywood's Jackrabbit, built in 1921. Then it's on to the Racer, which first rolled its double line of cars out of the chute 5 years later. They savor the clickety-clack of the wheels, the shivering timbers of the vintage coasters of Kennywood. Not for them the antiseptic modern metal smoothness of the laser loop. They want the shakes and rattles of the real thing.
It's just a lot of fun. The people you're with are all crazy, just screaming, yelling, and pretending we're 14 years old again.
Well, I've got bum knees and I can't really go skydiving, so this is the next best thing.
You know, many of the people in this club are very eccentric, that is all except I. But I really still love coasters. They make me feel young.
Age doesn't have anything to do with it at all. It's how you feel inside.
And how does the roller coaster make you feel inside?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's like a high. It's like a high without drugs.
I'm a little nervous. I don't know about this.
Haven't you been on it?
No, I haven't been on this one.
You've never been on it?
No, I haven't.
I love to listen to the chain lift, the sound of that, the smell of the oil, and then when you get up to the top and you start that down dip, oh, the faster the better, and I just love it.
Finally, the main course, the infamous Thunderbolt. It's a rumbling race into the past, back to the days when roller coasters and the riders were young. Coasting to the end of another wild ride through KD Country, I'm Dave Crawley.
Have the best job in the world, or the craziest. You make up your own mind when we come right back. And I don't care if it's 50.
And Wednesday doesn't exist.
That's right. Blot it out of your minds. Thanks, Frank. Finally tonight, they are priests, lawyers, homemakers. They drive hundreds of miles to ride for minutes. They are roller coaster crazies, or American coaster enthusiasts, as they politely call themselves. More than 150 of the crazies converged on Kennywood today on their way to their annual convention in Allentown. And when they weren't riding and rating our local coasters, they stopped to talk to our own Susan Davis.
Okay, here it comes.
They look normal enough, but strap them into the seat of a ride, they begin to scream, and nothing makes them happier than riding over and over. Bill Beatty comes from Florida. He spent last fall riding Australian roller coasters. Lucy White also comes from Florida. She joined the club because she got tired of hearing people say,
What's that old woman doing on the roller coaster?
Gary Baker is local, but just as crazy. He's ridden the Thunderbolt.
I'd say probably over 100 times.
And you still like it?
Oh, yeah. It's still one of my top 10 wood coasters.
The Thunderbolt is a favorite because of its beginning and fantastic finish. It drops about 90 feet at the end. Club members love wood because they say every ride's just a little bit different, depending on where you're sitting, how much oil there is on the track, even the weather. What they hate is a heavy finger on the brake, which, as you're about to see, is not a problem here. Members also hate lines, like the rest of us. But ACE membership has its privileges. Usually groups like this one get to ride before or after a park closes, as much as they like.
I love this park. I have heard so much about this park, and it lived up to my expectations.
Any new coaster like the Magnum at Cedar Point becomes the rage. It's discussed, compared, and rated. It's much more than a hobby. Mike McKinney came from Western Canada to see Kennywood and go to the convention. Canadian coaster crazies have little choice.
Yeah, there's very few coasters in Canada, particularly on the West Coast. There's almost nothing.
It's a wild bunch who live to spin, willing to take chances. This Florida man may never be allowed back in his home state after today.
It's showing on the board. In Disney World.
Susan Davis, WTAE 4 News.
You know who got the worst of all that today? Poor Susan. Did you see her face when she came back?
And I heard her screaming, too.
She was blue in the face. She'd ridden the Thunderbolt 3 times in a row, and she said she must be getting old. It made her sick.
Oh, I wrote it once and I said, never again.
Never again.
Never again.
I'd say crazies are aptly placed.
Yeah.